Hello everyone, welcome back to 51 GT3 Racing Academy. Today, I am taking you to Shanghai International Circuit to see the two cars next to me. I believe you are all very interested to see them. First of all, a big thank you to SilverRocket for giving us this opportunity to film these two cars. They are the GT3 CUP of the previous generation 991.2 and the GT3 CUP of the new 992. Today, we will take you from different aspects to compare the differences between the two cars. Let's start by looking at the front of the old model. The entire front bumper is still a relatively simple three-stage type, and there are two air intakes on the entire engine cover for the driver to dissipate heat. Let's see what's different about the new model. After looking at the old model, you will find that the design of the new model has become more complicated, especially since the front bumper has many windshields and deflectors. At the same time, there are three openings on the engine hood. You can also take a look at the headlights, and there is a small detail change. There is an X shape on each headlight, and the four light sources inside make the whole car feel more fierce than the previous generation after starting. Also, you can clearly see from the side that the body shapes of these two cars are completely different. The new model is wider, and the old model is relatively narrower. The wide feeling of the front of the car makes the whole car more deflated, and then this deflated and aggressive appearance makes the front of the car have the momentum of forwarding attack. At the same time, you will find that there are many differences in the shapes on the sides of these two cars. First, let's take a look at this older model. The car shape is relatively smooth on the side. In the rear part, the line is shaping downward. But compared to the new model, you will find that the rear of the car rises slightly. If this car is chasing after the driver, this aggressive domineering may put a little pressure on him. Do you feel that as well? Let's look at the interior. First of all, in the old model, the entire center control panel is relatively simple. All function buttons are in the middle position. They are all this mechanical little lever design. This is a metal textured steering wheel wrapped in Alcantara. The dashboard display of the whole car is about the size of my palm. These are the interiors of the 991.2 GT3 CUP. Let's take another look at here. I'm going to show you the interiors of the new 991.2 GT3 next, and see how much it has changed from this old model. We are now in the new 992 GT3 CUP model. I don't know how to describe it because the two interiors feel like different products from two eras. Let's start from the central control here. The mechanical switches have been replaced by these large rubber-wrapped physical buttons. Below them are the switches for ignition and fire extinguisher. The steering wheel is the bigger difference. You will find that the material of the steering wheel is all replaced with carbon fiber, and the steering wheel is missing the upper half. In this way, the information of the display can be better seen, which also means that the display of this car can be made larger. This is the biggest monitor I've ever seen on a GT model. If I put my hand on it, the monitor is about the size of my two palms. It also has a whole carbon fiber interior panel, which makes you feel like you're fighting when you're sitting in the cabin. Okay, we finished looking at the exterior and the interior. I believe you are very concerned about the performance difference between these two cars. First of all, their engines will have some differences. They both have the same 4.0-liter six-cylinder horizontally opposed engines, but their horsepowers are different. The old model has 485 horsepower, while the new model has increased to 510 horsepower, but its maximum torque is only 470 Nm. The old model has a torque of 480 Nm and a top speed of 8,500 RPM. The maximum speed of the new generation model has been increased from 8,500 RPM to 8,750 RPM. The improvement of the entire engine will make the performance of this car more outstanding. In addition to the different engines, the two cars also have a big difference in aerodynamics. Aerodynamics directly affects the performance of a car, especially a GT model. Let's start with the old model first. As we said just now, the front bumper has a three-segment design. There are many radiators behind the front bumper to help the car dissipate heat effectively on the track. You can find that on this old model, the front bumper does not have too many deflectors. And we can say that the new aerodynamic design is actually more of a process from scratch. This is the entire deflector on the front bumper of the new model. The first two of the three holes here are for heat dissipation. In addition to heat dissipation, it can also increase the downforce of the front of the car. Let's move to the side. In fact, the old model does not have too many aerodynamic kits on the sidebars, so the overall design is relatively simple. But the new model is different. The design of the aerodynamic kit is very obvious. It arches up at the front and also at the back of the body, giving the car more of a muscular touch. There's an aerodynamic kit in the back here. This kit is to help the car to rectify when driving at high speed. The wind comes in from this side and blows out the air turbulence from within. In this way, a vacuum environment is formed, and the rolling resistance of the tires will become smaller when we are driving at a high speed. Let's compare the biggest difference next, which is the rear wing of the two models. The old model is a lift-type rear wing. That is, the entire rear wing is lifted by a traditional bracket. But on the new model, you will find that it has changed from a lift type to a hoisting type, and the bracket is on top of the rear wing. Because of its unique shape, this bracket has a very interesting name called swan neck. What is the benefit of this? The bracket of the old model is under the rear wing. When driving at high speed, turbulence will be formed here, and this turbulence will affect the downforce of the car. But if it is a hoisting rear wing, then the position where we have turbulence is not under the wing, but in front of it, and the impact of the turbulence will become smaller. The rear is also different. First, let's take a look at the bottom. There is a very obvious diffuser. This diffuser helps comb the airflow above the chassis. The fast airflow creates a negative pressure that sucks the car to the ground. On the new model, you will find that the rear of the car has a small ducktail-like design, which lifts the line of the car from downward to upward, and it can provide an additional effect of this downforce. You will find that there is a cooling vent. Its principle is very simple. When we are stepping on the accelerator, the two intakes are sucking in the air like crazy. But as soon as the driver pulls the throttle, they then stop taking in air, which creates turbulence in the engine bay. So such a small design can quickly export the turbulence and make the engine response better when the throttle is refueled again. Whether from the exterior, interior, or air kit, we found that the performance of the new model is much better than the old model. Next, these two cars will go to the track, and we will directly compare the performance difference between them on the track. After returning from the track, we found that the performance of the new generation Model 992 has completely crushed the previous generation Model 991.2. As can be seen from the database of 51 GT3, the fastest lap of the 991.2 model at Shanghai International Circuit can reach 2 minutes 7.580 seconds, while the fastest lap of the 992 can reach 2 minutes 5.994 seconds, which is faster than the previous generation model for 1.5 seconds. What's more exaggerated is that such lap times have approached the higher-level GT3R. However, while the performance of the 992 models is improved, it still maintains the maintenance cost of the Cup level. So we came to a conclusion that the 992 is a race car with Cup-level maintenance costs, but the performance is close to the GT3R. That's all for today's episode. If you want to learn more about the technology of racing cars, let us know in the comments section. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.